hook up wherever you needed. And that's kind of how Reaper was born, because, you know, we needed a way to use our tools the way we always had. And that was 2005, right? You know, Reaper introduced a lot of new paradigms for routing. You know, we had, I think, 64 stereo channels per track. So you could really treat it as a patch bay, no problem. And, you know, as the years went on, people would ask, hey, what's different about Reaper? And you would talk about the routing and stuff. They're like, well, we got routing now too. So imagine my surprise when, again, this is 2021, we had a customer who's using our multiband gate with Logic. And he was asking, how do I send the 6 outputs to different channels? And I'm thinking, well, how do you normally use like a crossover or anything else? And I went asking around, and well, not that Apple support ever emails anybody back, but from what I could get from all the forums that I could find, you know, the regular sources on Discord and the regular groups that you guys know about, they were saying it can't be done. It can be done on instruments, but not on audio plugins. And so I'm thinking, you know, okay, there's probably a way around this. We might be able to rebrand this for just for Logic as an audio instrument. But again, it's 2021. You can sort of do this on Nuendo and Cubase. I know the Cubendo guys are going to freak out on me and stuff, but you can do this on Fruity Loops, man. I mean, come on. You guys like to make fun of, I don't even think you're supposed to call it Fruity Loops anymore. It's like FL Studio. You can do it on there. You can do it on Ableton. You can even do it in Pro Tools, as far as I can tell. Why the hell do we still have trouble doing this in Logic in 2021? You know, maybe 2010. Maybe you could be excused or whatever. But no, you had another decade to fix this, man. So, you know, we have to serve everybody. I can't go and, you know, of course I'm biased towards Reaper. Of course. But it's so hard not to just say, just throw those pieces of crap away. But, you know, I've seen sequencists and composers who do amazing stuff in Logic. But, sheesh, Logic. Can you please, you know, never mind all the gatekeeping paranoia that Apple always does. But multi-channel routing and stuff, man. This is not a new thing, right? Okay. In Cubase, you can do it. But it's not very pleasant, so maybe you guys could work on that. I think you're okay in Studio One for doing multi-channel routing, but it's just so weird. Like I say, man, it's just weird to think in 2021 that we're gonna have trouble doing something like this. Okay, so, you know, not that I like to get in on this stuff on this show, but this is a science show, okay? Like it or not. Part of the reason I do this is penance for a time in my life where I was quite anti-scientific. I was just learning the studio business, and I was learning from some of the top guys in the world. You know, you've seen their names on the back of every album you own. And, you know, that is kind of a textbook argument from authority. Though they are the authorities, I tended to believe in them. I believed in this religion that was pro-audio, that believed, you know, I didn't believe that you couldn't measure things. I just believed that maybe we don't know how to measure them yet. You know, I was an expert with a soldering iron, with all the measurement tools and everything, and somehow I still believed that, you know, certain microphone preamps were just magical and you couldn't build them again or whatever. So you had to pay like $5,000 a channel for mic preamps. That's why we do this, is because applying scientific principles and stuff, and actually doing double-blinded, placebo-controlled studies, which is what you do in medicine. We do a similar thing called an ABX test in audio, and that's a lot of the reasons why we do this. Evidence-based audio engineering and education. It's evidence-based, you know. I got struck by YouTube because we had locally, we have some Facebook groups that are very influential on local politics and local culture. And so that I don't get this video struck as well, they were telling some lies about the Backstreet Boys reunion tour, if you know what I'm talking about. Especially the prophylactics. I don't think I can say the V word here. YouTube struck me for being anti-science on this one, and the peer-reviewed scientific literature is all I presented. This is not some quack stuff. In fact, what people used to argue against me was an actual Alex Jones InfoWars picture. And then when I said, hey, I'm not really sure about that source, they pulled up Natural News, man, which is like the Deepak Chopra of scam, which is supplemental, complementary, and alternative medicine. Anyway, think about how many times your favorite YouTube educator or artist has been struck, especially if they're on the pro-science side. They tend to get DMCA, like false DMCA claimed all the time, which you might remember I went through a couple of years ago. They tend to be demonetized. They tend to be taken off of the search results. Go look for Thunderfoot, for example. So anyway, because this is a very influential local group, which probably contributed, these types of ideas probably contributed to a lot of a longer shutdown than we should have had otherwise, more deaths than we should have had otherwise, more cases than we should have had otherwise. Yeah, one of the claims I made is that the two big companies, there was a claim that I don't even know how I can say this without getting struck again. I'm just going to say it. Pfizer and Moderna. There was a claim, YouTube. Please don't quote mine this again. There was a claim that these guys weren't testing their vaccines. That was their claim. You're going to strike me over that. I shouldn't use it. Not vaccines, prophylactics. There was a claim that these guys didn't test their prophylactics. So I said, of course, that these were double-blinded, placebo-controlled studies, I think across tens of thousands of people. And YouTube claimed that that was an anti-scientific claim, and they gave me a community strike. This isn't too different than when you ask for evidence of tone wood on a guitar forum, right? But in this case, YouTube is the monopoly, and they are anti-prophylactic, even though they claim otherwise. So, I mean, if they've struck down, I can't even say the term, but there's a type of conspiracy theorist out there that is anti-prophylactic, if you get it. And whenever you take them on in debates and stuff, YouTube will strike you. So they're on the side of the anti-prophylactic people in function, even though they claim that they are not. Even though they'll give you scare warnings all over the place when you say things about this, they end up helping the anti-science side. And it's so hard for me to say. I'm probably going to get struck. I'm probably going to lose my channel over this, but whatever. I'm just so sick of this. It's frustrating. Then I was just going for broke. I decided I would let them. I've just put up a live debate. You want to come on a live debate? Let's have it out in public, so you guys, I don't have to play whack-a-mole. So then there was a claim of This is a claim, YouTube. Okay, this is a claim. This was the claim that the conspiracists were saying, that over 4,000 Americans have quit life because of the Backstreet Boys reunion prophylactic. And I said that only 3 people have been quit from life, been canceled. Only 3 people got canceled because of the Backstreet Boys reunion prophylactic. This is so dumb that we have to say things this way. This kind of censorship is just goddamn ridiculous. But it's the only way to talk about this subject without losing your channel. This is so stupid. But in the peer-reviewed scientific literature, it looks like 3 people may have been canceled because of side effects from the prophylactic. Where, what was it, 600,000 Americans were canceled by the reunion tour itself. So, you know, I mean, that's how prophylactics work. They had smallpox a long time ago, you may remember. It's not 100%, but it was enough to turn the tide, and there were side effects. Polio. You know, how long have we been arguing that we should probably get rid of the live polio vaccine now, and the OPV, right? We want to, or is it the OPV? We want the synthetic now, because really the live virus, oh my God, it exists in the vaccine, and I mean that may be where it's still coming. Aside from the I can't say this either. Aside from the places where it's still in pockets because of religious ideals, we're mostly seeing it in the vaccine itself. So it's just another one of those things. But anyway, so YouTube has claimed that my claim about the 3 people canceled is anti-science. And as this is a dichotomy, in this case, they're backing the claim by the conspiracy nuts that 4,000 Americans have been canceled by that. But you know what? Even if it was 4,000, that's still way the hell better than 600,000 or whatever it was. So, of course, it's not just me getting busted for this, as usual. And there's no contact or accountability. You know, that's kind of the worst part of this, right? How do you contact YouTube? You can't. You know, they do have friends and families and stuff, but all their friends and families will claim that they don't know them, which is kind of strange, you know. You just can't get to these guys. If you could email them, if they could talk back to you straight, you know, if I was a big enough channel or whatever. But even some of the biggest channels have this problem. There's no accountability. It's definitely a monopoly as part of Google. And, you know, I've signed up for every alternative video platform that you can get on. But because of Google's monopoly, I mean, you saw what happened when can I say this? When Subscribestar was offered as an alternative to Patreon, old Google pals really stomped down on that, right? They defunded them. In my view, illegally, a bunch of companies, what's the word? They all got together, and I think it was MasterCard, Visa, PayPal. They all agreed not to pay off money that was going to Subscribestar. So Patreon is a monopoly as well. It's not that we have an alternative. These, you know, a lot of people like to say, oh, it's a private company, so free speech. Not when you're a monopoly. That's a little bit different. I mean, sure. I mean, I still think, or not that you have free speech, that they can do whatever they want. It's funny how they pick and choose which cases. Like, they'll go full libertarian on that one, and then they'll try not to get into politics here. But anyway, we need an alternative to YouTube. This sucks. I mean, this really sucks. How much of science education and science popularization is getting destroyed by this biased channel? I mean, it's terrible. We need a way around it. I mean, do we need another internet? You know? Anyways, so that's my rant about Google here. But here's a thing that came up about DI boxes. So somebody was asking suggestions for a DI box to replace mic at gigs less than $100. And the way he says this, I'm a little worried here, but let's talk about this. He says, I think I'm done dealing with a mic and rather just try a DI box straight from in front of my amp. Any suggestions for a decent sub $100? Now, there's a bunch of stuff to get into, but let's go first. If it's the sound of your cabinet that you want, you're going to need you don't necessarily need a mic. There are DI boxes, like for amps and stuff, that do have They have cabinet simulators in them. So that is a possibility, right? So but if you just took a regular old DI and stuck it there, and you have like a distorted amp and you want the sound of your cabinet and stuff, ooh, that's gonna be nasty. You guys, if you have an amp sim plugin, turn the impulse off or the speaker simulator or whatever and see what it sounds like. You're probably not gonna like it. If it's a clean sound though, you might love it. You might like it way more than the mic. So it really depends what he's trying to do here. Of course, some of you guys remember, let's see if I find, when I did these tests, I tested a bunch of DIs and mic preamps, and the kind of the crazy thing that this turned out to, let's see if I can get there, real gear measurements, direct boxes. There was like a $30 direct box made by Rapco, Whirlwind. Let's see what it was. It's called the DB1. Where is it? The Rapco DB100. Okay. And what I found was this thing was just as flat and just as much gain as the Radial JDI, which is, to me, this is the I got one right here, right? Sorry for you guys who are on YouTube or Facebook, you're not going to see this, but this is the Radial JDI. To me, this is the ultimate direct box. This is the same circuit we used back in vintage back in the day. All those bass sounds you heard and everything, that was the DI. Actually, that wasn't the DI, but it's built on the same transformer. It's pretty much the same circuit as the Jensen suggestions for the direct box. And I think that's the JDI because it's a Jensen transformer in there. But this $30 or $50, whatever it was, DI box did everything that this $200 DI box does. I mean, measurement-wise, anyway. So they, of course, the way that works is they stopped making it. But they did start making this guy. Same company, Rapco DB1. And I still need to test this. So there's two of these. One's called the DB-1 and the other one's called the DB1. But I'm thinking that we're going to test these and see how they stack up to the Radial JDI. And the thing is, the thing was $30, but they make two versions. The more expensive one, I think it was like $60. So either way, it's going to be way the hell cheaper than this JDI, assuming that they work. And my thing is, I can't remember. I barely remembered that the software I used for it last time to test all this was called Rightmark Audio Analyzer, but I don't remember how to use it, so I have to go and read the manual, and I'll get on that. And we're going to finally test this thing, and I think I'm going to buy the more expensive one too and give that a test. But I bought 3 of these for my new PA system for the kids bands around here, and it worked. So it sounded fine to me. But we're going to run a test, and we're going to run it head to head with the JDI, and see how that goes. But one of the things that I want you guys to see, because this is how this always goes, right? Here is a user. Here we go. One person answered, under 100 for a decent one might be difficult unless you luck out and find a used one at a bargain. If you can up your budget a bit, a used Radial JDI might be the ticket. Yes, the JDI is awesome. But somebody else said, in this case, the more you pay, the better tone you'll get. So, of course, I had to say, that's only really true up to about $30 as shown in my gear test. But I'd have to test this, and we're going to find out whether or not this is going to go well. Okay. But remember, if you're using a DI for your amp, unless it's got a cabinet simulator on it, you're not going to get the sound of that speaker cabinet. You're just going to get the sound of your mic. But one more thing, and this really sucks, because I think you guys remember a couple years ago where I was being blocked by Facebook and Warner Music Group, Universal Music Group, all sorts of Bollywood companies had laid claim to my speaking voice. And thanks to a lot of people on, a lot of big YouTube channels who this was happening to later on, I had done an article about it pretty early on. And then it started happening to the big guys. And thankfully, a lot of big channels came to my rescue. Thank you, big channels. Not that you need a shout out from me, but you know, I definitely am thanking you because you saved me. You kind of got me whitelisted. As far as I knew, Facebook was still claiming that everything was fine and that I wasn't being illegally or falsely accused or whatever. But I can't find it now, but I've been blocked again by Facebook. I got blocked when I was running a sine wave test, but I got blocked the other day for talking. And let me see if I don't have a picture of this, because I did make a screenshot of it. So let me see if I can pull that up. Not sure. I should have probably had this up. Recent links, 2013. I don't know if that's gonna be the right one. Let's see. Oops, I don't know how to do that. Okay, well, let me do this a different way. Screenshots folder. No, that's not it. Oh, here we go. Okay. So, I have, your video is partially muted because, and isn't it funny? This is why is this, Facebook or YouTube worse. Anyway, it says your video is partially muted because it contains music that belongs to someone else. And if you watch this video, the only thing I'm using is a sine wave to do a test sweep. So it says the audio has been removed from 36 seconds of your video. Play the video above to preview the partially muted version. The following music has been detected in your video. 360 by Bagagi Vifx 13. Applied to Andorra, all these different countries and stuff. Sorry, let me turn this off. Sorry. Make sure you only post content you own the rights to or have permission to use. If you post content you don't own, it may violate the copyright law. And again, I have nobody I can appeal to. There's no contact. Just like with YouTube, I don't have anybody to contact. So this sucks. Am I going to have to go through this crazy crap again of actually having people in other states and other countries knock on people's doors? This was insane last time. Like, what is it that I have to do before Facebook stops automatically nailing me for this stuff? I did dispute I did a dispute, just like with YouTube. So they actually allow you to appeal. And so I appealed, and I presented them the relevant scientific literature that Pfizer and Moderna actually did test their prophylactic. There was very large studies, and YouTube said that my appeal was denied. And I have a feeling that Facebook is going to say my appeal is denied. This is crap, man. Like this was a... This was very upsetting. This was a horrible chapter of my life. I know I didn't get an arm chopped off or anything like that, but let me tell you, when somebody actually claims your personage, your voice, your ability to even tap a stick on a microphone, it's pretty crazy. It's like it's like a paranoid delusion come to life. So I hope that we can do something about this. And that's all I got for today. I had a crazy last night. We'll talk about that maybe next week, and I'll see you guys later.